Joe Davis, C.J. Nitkowski, and Max Scherzer, kind enough to join us this inning. Max, we appreciate you taking some time for us.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Here's Stephen Drew to lead it off, taking outside, ball one. Hard to find a better place to spend 4th of July weekend. If you weren't at a ballpark, what would be your grill food of choice for Independence Day weekend?
Oh, it's hamburgers and brats. That's all I need. That's
Keep
all.
It simple.
Keep it simple and just load it up. I mean, here in D.C., we've got one of the best displays in the country, so it's pretty special here.
Now, are you running that grill or somebody else doing it? Do you have those kind of skills?
Oh, I can do it. Yeah, I can definitely pull that off. You know, it's all about the marinade too. Remember, you gotta soak your brats in beer, so it's a nice weekend.
Now, are you a charcoal man or are you a gas man?
You know, obviously you prefer the charcoal, but at the end of the day, it becomes a gas because it's easiest.
Nobody wants to admit it, but at the end of the day, yeah, we all want to use gas. It is a lot easier. I want to ask you about last year. Before we get into your season a little bit, I want to ask you about the work that you did for us on Fox and in the postseason in studio, little Pete Rose and some guys that you got to work with. I think you probably love your day job more, but how much did you enjoy that postseason job last year?
Yeah, that was fun. That was my first experience doing that, and to be able to get on there and talk some baseball in the postseason, it was fun. It was fun to obviously get to meet Pete and obviously Frank and Alex, and I thought we had a great time and we did a good job.
Now, obviously, you have zero interest in doing that this year, with the hopes, of course, that you're playing in the postseason. Would that be correct?
Exactly.
Stephen Drew takes it upstairs and is the first base runner of the game for the Nationals against Dan Straley. So, Max, after a bit of an off night for you at Milwaukee, 7 1/3 in the win against the Mets this week, what was the difference this time around?
I just made a little tweak, and I thought I needed to finish my pitches a little bit better. And Mad Dog and I talked about it, and just made an adjustment. I just thought I attacked the zone better, and I was able to actually land my curveball better. When I can pitch with 4 pitches and really throw them all for strikes, that's when I know I have my most success, and that's what I felt like I was able to accomplish out of the Mets start.
When you're going through a game like that, and you mentioned having 4, and you're one of the few guys that actually has a complete repertoire in the big leagues, how long does it take you to realize that maybe one of those pitches is not there that night?
You know what? I'll never admit that I don't have that pitch, because I always believe, even if I've let's say a changeup's not working that night, that if I've thrown 5 bad changeups, I always believe that 6th one I'm going to execute one. And it doesn't even matter if it's a big situation or not. You have to have that belief that when you're facing the whatever hitter and you believe that changeup is the right pitch, that you have to execute it.
Yeah, so you're stubborn like most pitchers are, and believing in your stuff, which obviously is not a bad thing. But it's nice to have that depth of a repertoire where if it's not there, of course, you can go to something else, which is still a plus pitch, as all the pitches in your repertoire are.
Yeah, I mean, whatever pitch you're going to have the most conviction with, and that's what's going out there and having a plan and understanding. Obviously things change within the game and within your start, but when you're in those big situations, you got to throw the pitch that that you believe the most in.
Danny Espinosa at the plate with a man at first and nobody out here in the 3rd inning. Max Scherzer visiting with us. I know it was only June, we're only in early July, but a series like that where you're able to sweep your division rivals, is there a little added importance, a little added intensity down in the clubhouse and dugout in a series like that?
Go.
I'm going to ask you in a second to answer. This ball's hit well back to the wall, and Jay Bruce has room. Out number 1.
Now, what are we talking about, Mets?
Talking about, the Mets.
The Mets. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I know it's only June in that situation, but is there an added intensity, added importance down there?
Yes and no. So, I mean, obviously, we respect the Mets. I mean, they beat us last year, and we want to beat them. And we understand that if we're going to have the season we want to have, we're going to have to beat their teams in their division. So there is that notion that you are a little bit more juiced up. But man, this is the major leagues. You go out here every single night. There's always talent against you, and you always have to bring your A game. It doesn't matter which team you face. That if you don't bring your A game, you're going to get beat.
Yeah, it's a great point. I think a lot of people look at teams that are struggling and just assume that it's going to be a layup, but that's just not the case, as we see even a team like the Reds performing well against you guys tonight, despite the fact that they're not having a great year. What about the younger guys? Lucas Giolito comes up, has made his 1 start. Joe Ross is a guy that has gotten some experience but still young in his career. Do you like spending some time with these guys, sharing some wisdom with them, and kind of watching them closely, giving them some feedback?
Yeah, I mean, these kids are so freaking young now. I mean, I'm so old at 31. I mean, you got 21, 23. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what's awesome about being here is we got some great young talent. I mean, obviously you're getting to see what Joe can do, and then you know, we've got to see Lucas and make his debut, and he really looks like he's got a bright future in front of him. So I think there's even some more kids on the way as well. So I mean, we got a real nice young nucleus that we can potentially build around.
Ross, pretty darn good hitter, 265 on the year. Takes upstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And at the end of the day, that's what matters the most, Max, right? I mean, amongst the starting pitchers, who is the best offensively? Joe Ross has been pretty good for you guys. What's the competition like? Any side bets going on? What do you guys got going on with the Nats?
He's been talking. He's been talking. And, you know, I like to consider my single hitting approach works very well. But Joe's actually gone out there and really done some damage this year. So he's #1 on the post right now. But we'll see what. See, I won't let him win yet. You know, he's got to do it in the second half.
So what is the number? Is it batting average? Is it slugging? Is it OPS? What makes you the king of the Washington Nationals pitchers when it comes to hitting at the end of the year?
Oh, it's everything. Triple Crown stuff. You know, you know, I got 3 RBIs right now, so you know, of course I'm going to keep rubbing that one in.
Yeah, look, Daniel Murphy was a singles hitter at one point. You could always turn into a guy that hits home runs.
No chance. No chance. I'm a high school hitter. I know it.
So where are you on some of this conversation about some of these pitchers wanting to participate in the home run derby? It sounds like a fun idea for me, maybe a little bit dangerous. How you feel about it?
No, it's not dangerous, and I'll tell you that. I mean, we hit every single day. We're out here, so we swing, I mean, 50, 100, you know, 50 times a day. So if the notion that it's dangerous for them, I don't believe. If they feel like they want to, you know, if they're excited about having the opportunity to do it, I don't see why not. But you know, the notion that they're going to get hurt, I think is overblown in my opinion.
Full count on Ross with a man at first, 1 gone, 3rd inning. And Ross down on strikes. Straley's first punch out of the game. While we're talking All-Star Week, make the case for your catcher, Wilson Ramos, to be an All-Star.
And him and Murphy have literally carried us, you know, in this first half. Willie's come up with so many big RBIs, and obviously what he's been able to do behind the plate and taking a beating as a catcher, yet still hit 340 with all the RBIs and the power. I don't know how, you know, Terry Collins can't select him or the players. He's going to be in San Diego. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. He will be there, and I agree with you. And rarely do we actually see catchers that do it on both sides of the ball. Probably the most important part for you, though, is what he's doing behind the plate defensively. You've been with him, obviously, since you've been in Washington, but maybe tell us a little bit about what he brings to the table behind the plate. We see the numbers offensively, but sometimes it's hard to realize what a guy actually does when he's catching.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that, you know, it seems like every single start we keep getting more and more in sync with each other and knowing, you know, when to throw each pitch. And then, you know, like last start, he was very convicted one time that I needed to throw a curveball, and I kept shaking, but he kept putting it down. And after the game, I told him, hey, I like that. You know, I like it when you have a conviction that I should be throwing a certain pitch, because, you know, when the catcher has belief that, you know, the curveball is going to work best, that, hey, I should trust my catcher here. So it's stuff like that that keeps evolving as we keep working together, and that's what I like most about Willie.
Now, what's your limit there? Do you have a limit on how many times, like, let's just say he puts the 2 down, you shake him once, he puts it down again, you shake it. Is there a number where you're finally going to get frustrated? I used to tell guys, if I shake you a second time and you put it down a third, I'm throwing it anyway. Do you have a number there where you're going to be like, call him out or put a stop to it?
Well, I'm not going to. If he puts it down again, I'm probably not going to shake again, because that means he's right. I'm probably wrong, and he's probably right, and there's a reason why I need to trust my catcher.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Ben Revere. And the game-winning hit last night. So you already have, you know, one of your pitchers in Steven Strasburg who had an issue with a weight room accident, putting him on the DL. You turned center field into a deadlifting platform last night after Revere's game-winning hit, huh?
Yeah, you know, so we had a couple walk-off wins where J-Dub walked it off, and he kept running like to the, it felt like to the warning track. So the second time I ran down there and chased him down, like grabbed his leg and tried to hold him from running around. So I took the same approach at Ben, and forgetting that Ben's only probably 160 pounds, so it's so easy to just throw him up on your shoulder.
Revere smacks one towards right center, and that ball is down.
Go.
Revere with a base hit.
There we go.
He's on his way to third with an RBI triple.
There we go.
Only Billy Hamilton could get close to that ball.
All right, gotta go say high five. Come here, Derek.
Stephen Drew in to score on the triple from Ben Revere.
We'll see this ball over the middle of the plate, but how about Billy Hamilton even making a run at this ball? There's probably not another center fielder in baseball that believes he has a chance to catch this thing in its full extension. It's a good effort, but he could not get there in time. Jay Bruce has to come over, and it's a big 2-out triple for Ben Revere.
What's that do for your team, Max, if you get Ben Revere hitting at the top?
Oh, watch out. Watch out, because J-Dub's going, Bryce is going, especially when you get, if you get Revere going with his speed, he can create havoc on the bases. Man, it's going to be something fun in the second half.
Now, I know you haven't been broadcasting for very long, and technically you're not in the booth right now, but there is this rule about no cheering when you're in the press box. We're going to give you a pass because you got the uniform on.
I'm done with this press box stuff if that's the rule.
Worth out in front, strike one.
Hey, how about the Chicago Cubs the other day? They used 3 pitchers in the outfield and left field. Now, you've accomplished a lot in your career. Is that one thing maybe you'd like to cross off? Is that a bucket list item? Pitchers love getting out there and pretending that they're big league position players. Is that something Max Scherzer would like to do one time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that would be pretty cool if I get to play the outfield one day.
I don't
know how it's ever going to happen, but
we'll talk to Dusty. Let him know. You never know, right? These long games in the National League, 16, 17, 18 innings, is usually when a manager has his back against the wall. I've said the excitement about that and what pitchers get excited about is the possibility of a guy on second base and throwing him out at home plate. What would be most fun for you? Something like that, robbing a home run, running a ball down in the gap. What would be the dream if you were out in the outfield?
Making a diving catch would actually be my dream. But honestly, you got to realize you got to have the negotiation here. If I can't work that angle with Dusty, so I'm gonna have to work for the pinch hit before I work anything with the outfield.
Fair enough. Here's a 2-1 to Worth. Takes it low and away, 3-1. What was your position coming up? Were you a shortstop as a kid?
Actually, as a kid, I was an outfielder.
Were you?
In high school, yeah.
So, Dusty, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, I've let him know I'm an all-state outfielder, but
no big deal.
Yeah, it just doesn't ring.
A 3-2 on Jason Worth. Nationals on the board on the first hit of the game against Dan Straley. A Ben Revere 2-out triple to score Stephen Drew. On 3-2. Worth in the air to right, sending Bruce back with plenty of room. And Max Scherzer, we sure appreciate you taking the time to visit with us.
Thanks for having us on, guys.